Any specific actions that you talked about you want to throw out there?
You got them backwards.
I have them backwards.
Ray in. You're talking about leadership skill or leadership behaviors. Relational is first.
Right.
Foundation.
Yeah.
That one's down near.
I can't, that can't be backwards.
That would be rear.
No, that You're missing the fundamental point. The fundamental point is that Jesus said one thing is necessary.
Oh, yeah.
So that's always been
But you
first.
ask about
Praise God.
leadership, you ask
Yeah.
about leadership behaviors.
Right.
The first thing you have to do is you have to develop a relation. You have to do those things that work, that combine, that connect you to people. Once you have those connections, they have to be authentic. They have to be what you say is what you do and all that sort of stuff. And they gotta be real. Only then can you get to that point, like that example he used in chapter 1, where we all looked at it and we went, wow.
Right.
Okay? Only then, the relationship was there, the authenticity was there. Now you can have a conversation about what the real problem is and get down to the bottom. And you can allow the person to have ownership because there's trust on both sides. So we're not just gonna squash you and kick you out of the church. This is a problem that you own, how, where are we going with it? And let them work it.
Yeah.
And where are they working towards?
Yeah. That's good.
And
You just
their relationship with God.
single-handedly invented a word. Awesome.
Re-in.
Great.
Ray.
Great.
Ray.
I like that, that's good. Anything else? I mean, specific behaviors?
Okay, after you explained to us a little bit more about necessary, our group kind of just jumped on this one. We, well. I jumped on this one.
Being authentic.
All right, that's fine.
Let's be authentic. I took over the group. I told you what we believe. Go ahead.
We did, since the beginning of the gathering, you've interjected this many times with leadership. So this is where and we all agree, that you've asked that leadership, or anybody that wants to, be up front worshiping on Sunday mornings. And this, because necessary, you said, is the presence of God. So when people that are in leadership are up front worshiping and our children worshiping, does it not bring down the presence of God even stronger in that room? And it doesn't, and there's so many young people and young families, young couples that have never been around anything like this, or even just people that have never come. She was talking about, they came from a Presbyterian church who was just so staunch and never seen such a thing. And so, but how it has just ministered to their family to see that kind of thing. And so when the leadership, even if it's not, it's out of your comfort zone to do that, it's hard for some people. But believe me, if one person steps forward, 3 or 4 are going to step forward. But when you do that, it just ushers in the presence of God. And that's what that's about. And people can experience and see. Worship is also about, it's seeing.
Right.
It's seeing, it's visual. And it brings down God's presence. And if we're not afraid, and don't let us be motivated by fear, what other people think, then you just do it.
Yeah.
You just do it.
That's good.
That's what I say.
Going all the way back to the
It just brings
first
down the
all-leader meeting of the year, if we all did that, then Jennifer would not be a
Crazy.
lone nut, right? Because we'd be first followers. Yeah. So
So tomorrow.
that's good. So bring it back. Hello. Clap up if you hear me. So going back to leadership behaviors, I mean, what we're talking about here is example, right? We're setting an example, which is a very honoring leadership behavior. Not, I'm asking you to do something that I'm not willing to do, but I'm doing something so you can see how I do it and you can come along. Or not come along, but I'm still gonna do it, right? Yeah. Y'all the same thing? Now, I know we talked about communication, I think, at one point, because you turned around and said, no, listening. So, what did it say? Y'all want to talk about that?
We've been done authentic too.
Okay, well, y'all were wrong. What do we do?
Under excellent, good listening skills, knowing that we care about them and graciousness.
Yeah, so we were talking a lot at our table about how do you lead people to excellence, but then authentically call them out when they're not living.
And we
to
thought
excellence.
we thought it was important to listen to people because we have a tendency to throw our defenses up in order, to not listen to what people are saying and so that we both can be authentic and be honest with one another.
Do you mind saying what you said about the perspective?
A lot of times we will respond to someone from an earthly perspective instead of the big heavenly perspective. And so when we're listening to that person, we automatically think, well, how's this gonna impact me? So we're listening to respond to that person, but not necessarily listening to hear that person.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what that example in the first chapter, because going through that, I went through that exact thing that girl went through.
Touchdown.
Your teams are flexible. Sorry.
Can you hear me clap?
Going back 29 years, 30 years, thinking, had someone sat down with me at that point and taught me through the way they did and listened, there was more going on than just one mistake. And it would have gone a long way for my inner healing, that, just coming from that perspective, the listening, and that's what he was doing. He was actively, and he wasn't taking the sugar-coated answer, he was digging.
And I'm going to go back to what John said, if we go backwards, which you can see it as we're talking, you can see the power of what he's saying. All of these authentic interactions don't matter at all if there's not a relationship to have the interaction. And so if we're just managing people, make my job easier, and I'm being as transparent as I can be, I wrestle with that. Like, make it easy to lead. I'm just saying, I want to say it to everybody, I'm not saying it to you. I want to just tell people, like, make it, there's a scripture in the Bible about that. Like, follow in such a way that makes it easy for people to lead you. But if we lead that way, like, people will be like, you're a jerk. There's got to be relationship interaction back and forth. Like, how can I help you? Like, what's really going on? We talk about that a lot, just the active listening. Like, why are you not able to do X? There's probably a bigger story going on behind it. And Winnie's mom's a great example. I've used it before. She, when her brother was dying from cancer, she was out of church for how long? Like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months. Every weekend, driving back and forth from Columbia to Campobello to take care of her brother who was dying. And when he finally died and she showed back up in church, somebody, bless their heart, said, where have you been? That's not honor, right? Even if she didn't have a good excuse, that's not how you greet people when you finally see them back.
Instead of saying, we've missed you.
Right, and man, or have said that at
Or
some
5
point in
months
the 8 months
before.
that she was gone, right? Like, so again, just that authenticity, I'm glad you mentioned that, because if it's not, there's no relationship, there's almost no. So, were you gonna say that?
Yeah, I was gonna go off that, and why sometimes we feel like we have to, the whole where have you been kind of concept, are two of the words that we came up with, collaboration and humility. And those both kind of go hand in hand, because in excellence and necessary where you need to be collaborative and not be, like, as a leader, you kind of want to get everyone's perspective, but be humble to lead people into excellence by handing something over when you know you're not good at it, instead of saying, well, I need to take this because it's my thing to do. But instead of saying, I know that you're better at this, so take this from me and do it, and recognizing that in other people. And then when as a group, when there's a mistake made, not saying assigning blame to assign blame. And I think that all stems from being in a working culture and having a boss that can fire you, and you're afraid of messing up, and there's fear there. So when you're part of the team, you don't want to mess up, because then you're going to get blamed and kick off the team, or not be asked to do stuff when you know you can do it, or when the other person just says, well, you messed that up, you're not going to do this next time. And so being humble enough and not assigning blame, just assign blame, say, okay, how can we all fix this? And kind of help people rein in and say, well, I'm not afraid to come to you with anything as a servant to a leader, and say, I'm not afraid of you because you're not gonna fire me or scold me, you're gonna help me figure this out.
Right.
That's such a good point.
That's one of our core values.
Yeah, which one?
I think grace takes time.
Yeah. Back to the book, one of the things that kept jumping out at people, either as a comment or as a, how do you do it, was punishment and fear, right? So punishment versus discipline, like he says clearly in the book, and we've said a couple times in church, like, there's nothing left to punish because Jesus, either he took it all at the cross or he didn't, right? So if he took it all, there's nothing left to punish. There could still be things to confront in discipline, but not because you're bad, just because you failed and we're gonna work through it.
And that does come from the relational part, I mean,
Yeah,
but,
absolutely, so,
because you have to build that trust, and knowing that people can come to you and not be afraid and say, you know, scold it.
right.
I just want to mention this, I just ran across it as we were talking. That whole chapter 12 in 1 Corinthians, where a lot of this is taken from, where he talks about the different gifts and everything. The very last thing he says in that chapter, second half of verse 31, he says, "But now let me show you a more excellent way."
Yeah.
And what does he talk, where does he go into then? Chapter 13, where he talks about love, godly love, sacrificial love.
Yeah.
So, and Jennifer brought up the point we were talking about excellence. It has to do with grace.
Yeah.
So this whole thing, I mean, all of those gifts have to be undergirded by
Right.
grace.
I think we actually put in big parentheses, Colossians 3:1-4, and above all these, put on love, which binds everything together in harmony.
Yeah, that's really good.
Tie it all together.
That's really good.
Can I bring a different perspective?
Sure.
I mean, I agree with all that. But I'm listening to it, I'm listening to it with a different set of ears and how, and I suspect if I sat at all the tables, I would have heard this and the same thing. But sitting here at our table, just the difference in how we approached talking about those things was very apparent to me, just because, and it's, I know I'm too into it, but it's very apparent, and we come at it from a, you know, Michelle and Mel come at it, they're looking at the big world picture, and that's how they approach life, is looking at the whole big picture, and that this has to be the overarching way that we do things. And then Alex, I picked up, I think, I could be wrong, but I was picking up, and I know me, but how do you do that? What does that look like? It's gotta have skin on it, so what does that look like? So we're, you know, and I have to be careful and listen to them and not frustrate them looking at the whole world while I'm down here looking at how does that skin look? What are you gonna do? So, and I would imagine it's the same thing in all of our tables, that how we answer those